here comes Speed Racer. Here comes Speed Racer. He's a demon on wheels.
I'm going to be 54 this year. So I grew up in Chatsworth, and Speed Racer was, a cartoon that my brothers and I, one day we found it, as all kids do, a cartoon, you're like, oh my gosh, the cartoon that changes your life, And it's because it was a cool car. It was a cool kid driving a car, breaking the rules because they were like, no, you can't drive in this race. And you go, watch me, and that kind of thing. And so it was like every kid's dream cartoon to watch and pretend you were Speed Racer. In fact, I would imagine it came on at the same time that Mickey Mouse Club was on. I remember that one time I wanted to watch the Mickey Mouse Club, and my brother's like, no, we're watching Speed Racer. I'm like, what's Speed Racer? And he's like, you got to see this show. And he's my older brother by a year. I had two brothers. They were twins. They were older than me by a year. And so he's like, you got to see this show. And we watched, we turned I guess it was the 5 or 6 channels that you actually had, back in the day when there was like 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, and 11, and 13. those only channels. And it was like on channel 11, I think, or channel 13, and we watched Speed Racer, and I was like, I'm never watching Mickey Mouse Club anymore because I'd rather watch this show because this is where it's at. And I think that's where I really fell in love with. We all watched it together. We love the music, how it starts out, and I guess as cheesy as it was, we still ate it up. It was so great. And I must have been about, I'd say I was probably about 7 or 8. And my brother was 9 or 10, whatever. But we were only a year apart. So he was the one who kind of I think loved it even before I loved it. But I was the one who stuck with it. Like whenever I wanted, we were picking teams. We'd go play Little League. And they would say, what number do you guys want on your... I was like 5. I want number 5. That was my number because of Speed Racer. And anytime it was church ball or any kind of basketball or they were handing out the jerseys, I'm like, where's the number 5? Where's the number 5? Because I wanted that number. So here's a little Mach 5. It's yellowed because of just the heat of the car. Mm-hmm. But then I'll have here's Chim Chim right here. And I always keep my yellow gloves in here. And incidentally, when COVID was a thing, I made myself a Mach 5 mask.
That's awesome.
Just so I could play the part. Speed Racer was the first, I think, Japanese animation that was put in front of an American audience at that time, I believe, because only other ones that I remember at that young age was there was G-Force about these kids flying in space, and then there was a couple others that were kind of in that realm, and I can't remember their names because they were only short-lived. I don't think they caught on as much. And then there was, later on came out Voltron and other ones, but I was already older when those started to really gain traction. But I remember that Speed Racer with, they had the big old eyes, and the expressions, that kind of thing. We loved it. We was and Pops, and he had his hey, Speed, come back, and he would yell at him and, you got, come back here, and then Chim Chim and Spritle were always getting in trouble and, hey, Speed, can we, and it was just so kooky. And then the guys were driving next to Speed and, hey, you're gonna pay for that, and this and that, and all the little dub things that that wasn't matching with the mouth. It was still fun. It was still entertaining, and so I think that love of that cartoon, it was literally my favorite cartoon for like forever, for like the longest time, to the point where when I started to do like model cars and stuff like that, like here's an example. When I was in Cub Scouts and things, they have these Pinewood Derby cars. I made a Pinewood Derby car look like the Mach 5 because I wanted the Mach 5 to be my car. I got it finished and I raced it, and it was the slowest car. So it wasn't as speed as it was supposed to be, but I got cool points for it because it looked best. It was like the best styled car. And I would have these little Matchbox cars that had the Mach 5, and so that always became like in my head. I said, one day I'm going to drive the Mach 5. One day I will have the Mach 5. I don't know when, I don't know how, but someday Jerry Foote will be driving the Mach 5. Well, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I will one day have enough money to, or whatever it is, to have a car that looks like the Mach 5. Whether I build it myself or have somebody help me build it. And it just so happens that this one it's just a Mazda Miata. It's a 5, it's called the MX-5. That's very important. MX-5, come on, all right? And I was like, this car could be the Mach 5. All you really need to do is put stickers on it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. Those stickers are literally vinyl that you use for car wraps and stuff like that. And I used to work for a company that could cut out those kind of, those colors with the vinyl and stuff. And when I bought the car, I'm like, hey, I need these cut at this size for this schematic for this car. And they did it for me. I put them on myself. And then people were like, oh my gosh, that's the Mach 5. People that know. And I'm like, they think that I redid stuff to the car. I didn't do anything to the car. It was already like that. It's white. It has that, you can put that top down and it looks even more like the Mach 5. And it was like a dream come true, finally,
Go be racing.